Well, I'm Tufele Haji once again at Ignited Minds with you all, my dear viewers, once again with the Smart Learning English Language Capsule. Well, I need not remind you of the fact that we have already started the course, and it's very important for all of you to know that in order to join the course live, you need to go and immediately download the app, and that's going to be quite helpful for you all to be a part of this wonderful and amazing experience when we talk of English. So yesterday we talked about words, and if I can go for a recap, if you remember, we talked of blends, then we talked of anagrams, and then later on we talked of palindromes as well. That was yesterday. हमने कल blends के बारे में बात की, उसके बाद हमने palindromes और anagrams के बारे में बात की. In fact, I also informed you that you can have the categories of words as friends, acquaintances and strangers, and those examples that must have been discussed at home also were absolutely wonderful, and they are very well used up in the day-to-day life conversations as well. So what I want you to do is immediately get your focus right onto whatever is being discussed in the classroom. So today we take it forward and we discuss words a little further. एक और कदम हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, and we'll see what different things can we explore when we talk of English words. I've got to clean this up first, and let me clean this up, and we have certain words. Let me start with a word, nicotine. ये word जो है, this word must be, in fact, you must be familiar with this word. When we talk of cigarettes, we talk of a component that is nicotine. Be correct about the pronunciation of the word, it's nicotine. So this nicotine has basically come from an origin, and that origin you need to understand. When we talk of the word nicotine, it has got its base in a name. There was a person, his name was Jean Nicole. Let me write the name of the person. Uska naam tha Jean Nicole, and he was the person who introduced tobacco into France in the year 1560. In the year 1560, this man, Jean Nicole, introduced tobacco into France in the year 1560. So you can better imagine 1560 में जीन निकोल के नाम से एक शख्स ने फ्रांस में पहली बार तंबाकू का तारुफ करवाया, and he introduced tobacco in France in the year 1560. और उसके नाम से एक word ने जन्म लिया English dictionary में, and that word was born as nicotine. So isn't it interesting to know that nicotine has got its origin in a name, and that name is Jean Nicole. Whenever you have a word whose origin is in a name, the origin of which is in a name, you call such words as eponyms. Yes, my dear friends, you heard it right. इनको हम बोलते हैं eponyms. So eponyms are those words whose origin is in a particular name, and that particular person or that name has got an association with the birth of that particular word. So that is nicotine for you. Let me have one more example for your understanding. If we can erase this, and then we have one more word, we discussed that word, and that's obviously also going to be quite helpful to all of you. Let me use a different ink right now. Let me use red here now. We have a word, and that word is what's called, we have nicotine, and then we have a word that's called leotard. Yes, it's called leotard. The spelling is Leotard. Now, those of you who have got some interest in athletics, gymnastics, you must have seen that the players, the athletes have got a very long loose dress. In fact, it's tight fitting dress, that it's a one piece dress that they wear. Especially you must have seen it in the Olympic Games, and those people wear that one piece suit which is very stretchable, and that one piece stretchable dress that they wear, that outfit is called leotard. And now the question is, आखिरकार ये leotard जो है वो कहाँ से आया है? Where has it come from? So when we look into the origin of the word leotard, there was a person, his name was Jules Leotard. Jules Leotard. For your information, Jules Leotard was the person who ran a textile factory in England, and this person first of all introduced the threads, the elastic fabric in his industry. So he was the first person to introduce the flexible, elastic, stretchable stuff and then introduce it to the people. So इस बंदे ने stockings में जो आप threads देखते हैं, stretchable threads, इस stuff को पहली बार introduce करवाया. So because of this contribution, there came a name in the English dictionary, in fact a word in the English dictionary, and that word is now leotard. So this leotard has got its origin in this person, the name of this person, Jules Leotard. So these words which are named after persons or personages, we call such words, yes, you're right, we call them as eponyms. So nicotine and leotard are the two eponyms examples for you, my dear friends. So we have had anagrams, we have had palindromes. If you remember the palindrome, by the way, palindrome jo hai, not only in the form of expressions or words you can see palindromes in the form of sentences also. When we go from left to right or right to left, as I told you yesterday in case of madam or ma'am, we have expressions also जो हम right से left पढ़े या left से right पढ़े. One example I think will settle the issue forever. Let me clean this up, and I write here, he lived as a devil A. Now see, he lived as a devil A. Now it's an expression, it's a long sentence. Now what we can do is, if you go from left to right and then you move from right to left, you will see the same order of letters. आप देख सकते हैं, we can reverse it like this. First H, and then E, and then L, I, V, E, D, then A and S, that's as, then and then D, E, V, I, L, devil, and then A, E, H. So this is EH, that is what we call an interjection. Interjections are those words, if you remember, you must have read in your classes also, that we have 8 parts of speech in English. Just a quick recapitulation of those. You have got 8 parts of speech in English. You have got N, you have got PN, you have got V, you have got ADV, you have got ADJ, you have got P, you have got C, you have got I. Passing reference में मैं बोलूँगा. In fact, we will be doing the grammar capsule separately, but थोड़ी reference जो है यहाँ पे help करेगी आपको general English को समझने के लिए. So we have got 8 parts of speech. We call them parts of speech, and these parts of speech have got their own nature and function. So, when we talk of N, we call them nouns, then pronouns, then verbs, adverbs, adjectives, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. Be correct about the pronunciation of the word preposition. Be correct about the pronunciation of the word adverb. Adjective, not adjective. It is adjective. When we look into the phonetics of the word a, ch, e, k, e, and w, that's adjective, not adjective. So adjectives, prepositions, conjunctions, not conjunctions. It is conjunction, because conjunctions are linking words. Junction means meeting point. They make two words or two clauses or two sentences meet. That's why they are called conjunctions. वो तो अलग बात है, अलग से पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी उस चीज की. So nouns are naming words. Nouns are naming words, and pronouns are used in place of nouns. As you know, we call them substitution words. So pronouns are substitution words. Very good. Suppose Tina is an actress. Tina is a noun, and then we say she is beautiful. That means we have substituted she for Tina. Tina is a noun. जिस word को हम noun के बदले use करते हैं, that is what we call a pronoun. So she is a pronoun, he is a pronoun, I is a pronoun, we is a pronoun, you is a pronoun. We'll discuss them separately in the grammar capsule. इस वक्त सिर्फ I'm just trying to touch upon these aspects. So they are verbs and we call them action words. Nouns are naming words, pronouns are substitution words, verbs are action words, adverbs are modifying words. They modify verbs. So they are modifying verbs. They modify verbs. They are modifying words. If I say he speaks, speaks the verb, then I say he speaks sweetly. Sweetly modifies speaks. Sweetly modifies verb, therefore sweetly is an adverb. He speaks well. Well modifies the verb speaks, therefore well is an adverb. We'll discuss the same later on when we talk of grammar. Just a touching reference for you, my dear friends. Adjectives are describing words. What do they describe? They describe nouns or pronouns in terms of quality, quantity, number, shape, size, nationality, color, material. If I say he is handsome, be correct about the pronunciation of the word handsome, not handsome. He is handsome. Handsome describes he, therefore handsome is an adjective. If I say the milk is white, white describes milk in terms of color, therefore white is an adjective, milk is a noun. If I say she is fat, fat shows the shape of the pronoun she, therefore fat is an adjective of shape. If I say he is an American, American describes he in terms of nationality. Similarly, if I say the shirt is cotton, cotton describes the noun shirt in terms of material. If I say my friends are many, many describes friends, that's a noun in terms of number. Therefore, we call them adjectives of quantity, quality, shape, size, number, nationality, etc., etc. So that's adjectives, describing words. And then we have prepositions. And prepositions, what are they? They are relationship words. They talk about the relationship of things. Suppose if I say the pen and the paper here, I show it to you, I tell you about the relationship between the pen and the paper, the sheet of paper, you can say, sir, the pen is on the sheet of paper. So what does on do? On shows us the relationship between the sheet of paper and the pen. When the relationship is shown between two things, We call such words as prepositions. Discussions will be held later on when we take up the grammar part of this course. That is different. This time we will not touch too much into it. So we have then conjunctions. They are called linking words. Linking words. Linking words are those words which connect, which link. They're also called connectors. They're also called linking words. They're also called linkers. They link the two words or the two clauses or the two sentences. That's also coming up later on in the grammar capsule. So we have the last one. असली मुझे बात इस चीज पे याद आ गई, and that is the feeling words. We call the words which have interjections, we call such words as feeling words. We are, wow, the lecture is amazing. Alas, his father is dead. Alas, his father is dead. Alas is an interjection. Similarly, hurrah, we have got rank 1. It's an exclamation of joy. Oh, his nose is running. He has got a snotty nose. That is an exclamation of disgust. Similarly, oh, how beautiful mankind is. You must be remembering yourselves, reminding yourselves of The Tempest in grade 9, Shakespeare's famous play, in which we had Miranda saying this when she saw a lot of people coming together, and then she said, how beautiful mankind is. Oh, how beautiful mankind is. You can relate the sentence in terms of interjection usage. So these are interjections, and this is the lekha jokha of the parts of speech, the general overview of the parts of speech. We have got nouns as naming words, pronouns, substitution words, verbs, action words, adverbs, modifying words, adjectives, describing words, prepositions, relationship words, conjunctions, linking words, and interjections, feeling words, which express sudden feelings and emotions. We were discussing the example of palindromes, my dear friends, जो हमने कल पढ़ा. Palindrome सिर्फ words में नहीं देखा जा सकता. You can see palindromes in the form of expressions as well. And this is an expression. He lived as a devil A, and then when we reverse it, it again comes, he lives as a devil A. And this is an example of a palindrome. I hope it's absolutely clear to all of you. So we have done anagrams, we have done blends, we have done eponyms today. Similarly, we have done palindromes, and now we'll move forward with one more thing. I clean this up all, and then we have one more thing to discuss. We have the concept of binomials. So binomials, I don't know whether you have heard this word ever. Binomial, you can also call them rhyming pairs. If you have seen two words being used together, suppose I'll give an example like this: do or die. Similarly, black and white. Similarly, P's and Q's. Similarly, do's and don'ts. Similarly, chalk and cheese. Similarly, slow and steady. Now, when you are talking of these words, you see these words are acting in pairs, and then you read them as pairs. There's a sort of a rhythm that is created when you read them. Do or die, black and white, chalk and cheese, P's and Q's, cure and care, do's and don'ts. These are the pairs of words which are having a conjunction in between. You can see यहाँ पे or, यहाँ पे and, यहाँ पे and. By the way, you know the meanings of some, and some you may not be knowing. P's and Q's. If I ask someone, I just tell someone, please mind your P's and Q's. Please mind your P's and Q's. That means please mind your behavior. Mind your P's and Q's. एंड याद रखें, जब ये एंड होता है बाइनोमियल्स में या इन राइमिंग पेयर्स में, वी कॉल देम राइमिंग पेयर्स ऑल्सो, तो इस एंड को आप स्पोकन इंग्लिश में एन पढ़ सकते हैं. एंड दैट्स व्हाई ऑन मेनी साइन बोर्ड्स यू मस्ट बी सीइंग, वहां पे ऐसे लिखा होता है ब्लैक and then white. Now, what is this N? This is basically and which is pronounced as N in English when we talk of rhyming pairs. In order to create a melody, in order to create a rhyme and rhythm, we use N as pronunciation of and. So, black and white, steady, slow and steady, chalk and cheese. What is chalk and cheese? If I say that these two brothers are chalk and cheese in their behavior. Chalk and cheese means absolutely different. And then if you have got two people who are bilkul same in a particular feature or a character, what do you call them idiomatically? You say, let me write it here, you say they are two peas. They are two peas in a pod. I hope you understand pod. मटर जो होता है, मटर का जो कवर होता है ऊपर, जैसे मटर होते हैं, we call that pod. Americans pod, Britishers pod. And then when you take the matar out from that pod, what do you call that, by the way? You must be thinking, what do you call that? Removing matar from the pod, removing the peas, separating the peas from the pod. That's called shucking. Yes, it's called shucking. So you can just say sometimes, what are you doing, mom? Mom can reply back, beta, I am shucking the peas. Shucking the peas. Shucking means removing the pods from the peas. And when there are two peas in a pod, that means you can now guess, what do I mean by this? There are two peas in a pod. That means they're absolutely similar. They're absolutely same. They are ditto. यहां पे एक इंटरेस्टिंग बात आपको समझाना चाहता हूं डिट्टो के रिलेटेड. मैंने बहुत जगह देखा है, आई हैव सीन इट, दैट whenever we have got the same as above, suppose Rahul, you are making a list, you say boy. Similarly, Sahil, you say boy. And then Tarun, you want again to write boy, but then you don't write boy now, you write what people say do. लोग बोलते हैं ये do है, मैं आपको correct करना चाहता हूं, it's not do. Do is an auxiliary verb, that is a helping verb, that is a different story altogether. Do का इसके साथ कोई संबंध नहीं है. Please do not read it as do. It is basically having one dash to the left side, one dash to the right side, and it is the short form of ditto. And the meaning of ditto is same as above. अब आपको समझ आता होगा कि जो हम ये do लिख रहे हैं, it does not mean, मतलब तो हम समझते हैं कि जो ऊपर लिखा है वही नीचे भी है, लेकिन हम इसको do पढ़ते हैं, which is a wrong thing to do, because this is not do, this is the short form of ditto. So, two peas in a pod, when you say, you mean to say that obviously these are the people, or these are the two things which are absolutely same in the characteristics that you are talking about. So two peas in a pod, that is one expression. इसका बिल्कुल opposite expression जो है, that is chalk and cheese. If I say those two are absolutely similar, I can say they are two peas in a pod. But if I want to say those people are absolutely different, apples and oranges, you can also use the phrase for it. They are apples and oranges. And if you are saying apples and oranges, that means you are saying they are entirely different. They are not two peas in a pod, they are chalk and cheese. So what do you call such words which act in pairs? Do or die, slow and steady, cure and care, black and white, Tom and Jerry. These are all the pairs which create melody and rhyme, my dear friends, and we call such words as binomials. You can also call them rhyming pairs. Rhyming pairs. So, rhyming pairs is also one more concept of words, my dear friends. We have got one last thing also to do tonight, and that is, I may clean this up. And the last thing that I want to talk about today in this lesson, when we talk of words, as we wind this up today, that is compound words. There are some words, as you might have read in science also, some of you might be knowing science and you have read up to class 10 or 12, that we have elements, compounds and mixtures. हमारे पास elements है, compounds and mixtures. When we talk of a compound, suppose we talk of water as a compound. So we say 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen, they combine and then they form a compound. That's water. We define compound as when 2 or more than 2 elements combine to form a different thing, we call such a compound. So that gives you an idea, आपको idea आया होगा कि compound words क्या होते हैं. Compound words are obviously also those words which are formed by mixing up, by mingling 2 or more than 2 words. Suppose we have a word well-to-do. We have a word forget-me-not. We have a word bridesmaid. Now, आपको समझ आया होगा कि these are words, but they are formed of individual components. When we talk of well-to-do, it is formed of 3 components: well, to, and do. Similarly, forget-me-not, be correct about the pronunciation of the word forget, not forget. Forget, forget. God gives and forgives. Man gets and forgets. Forgive, forget. Correct pronunciation. Forget-me-not. Similarly, bridesmaid. Now, they are made up of individual components. जब हम well-to-do की बात करते हैं, well-to-do means rich. Suppose if you say he is not well-to-do, that means he does not have access to a lot of wealth. He is not well-to-do means he is not rich. When we talk of forget-me-not, it does not mean that please do not forget me. It is the name of a plant. And when we talk of bridesmaid, we are not talking of any maids. We are talking of the woman who goes with the bride to her new home on the day of her wedding. इसको आप कश्मीर में ददमज बोलते हैं, ददमोज बोलते हैं. You know, once upon a time it used to be a tradition. In fact, it's still kept alive, but this time round we have different people accompanying normally the bride on the first visit to her new home. Therefore, that is bridesmaid, the person who goes with the bride on the day of her wedding when she enters the new home where she is getting married. So, these words are made up of 2 or more than 2 words. When a word is formed by mixing 2 or more than 2, by combining 2 or more than 2 words, we call such a word as a compound word. So, a compound word is a word which has got a mixture of 2 or more than 2 words. And that's the compound word. Sometimes the compound words can be open, like if I say petrol pump. Yeah, petrol gauge. Now see, petrol gauge is the instrument that helps us check the petrol levels. Be correct about the pronunciation of the word petrol. My car has run out of petrol. You can also say, my car has run out of juice in normal, informal English. There is no juice in my car. That means there is no petrol in my car. Therefore, this is also interesting when you say juice. Normally, we talk of juice in a different sense, but then you can use in the informal context that my car has run out of juice. And that's petrol for you. Petrol gauge, you can see petrol alag, gauge alag. We call such words, such compound words as open compound words. Open compound words. ओपन कंपाउंड वर्ड्स आर दोज कंपाउंड वर्ड्स जहां पे आप देख सकते हैं कि जो कंपोनेंट्स है कंपाउंड वर्ड के वो दूर दूर हैं. देयर इज नो पंक्चुएशन मार्क बिटवीन. But then we have closed compound words also. Suppose if I say classroom. Now classroom, we have got two words forming the word classroom, class and room. But then you see class and room, nail and flesh. They are absolutely together. There is no gap in between. We call such compound words as closed compound words. So this is an example of closed compound word. And then you have got one more example that's already, in fact, three of them are already present on the board. Well-to-do, forget-me-not, and bridesmaid, dear friends. You can see one punctuation mark there, and that punctuation mark is hyphen. Now you can just imagine, what do you call such words, such compound words, which have got components attached to each other with the help of hyphens? Yes, you got it right, dear friends. We call such compound words as hyphenated compound words. We call them as hyphenated compound words. So you will have different kinds of compound words in the book as you read through different scripts. You may come across the open compound words, you may come across the hyphenated compound words, you may come across the closed compound words as well. So dear friends, we wind up the words here and we just recapitulate and rewind. We started with the concept of the word, then we had the concept of the friends, the acquaintances, the strangers, then I introduced you to the blends, we had anagrams, we had what's called palindromes. We in fact did some palindromes today also, one beautiful example in terms of an expression. Then we had aponyms also discussed today, and then we had what's called compound words also, and then with today's lesson I think we discussed the binomials and rhyming pairs. So all these things can give you an idea what sort of expressions can you come across in terms of words and their classes. And why did I talk about words, dear friends? Because words are the bullets and we need to shoot them when we talk of English language development. We need to have a rich fund, a rich ammunition, as I keep on saying, with us in terms of vocabulary, because if you want expression, you must have words with you, and then those words can be utilized in terms of conveying and expressing different ideas at different junctures as per the need of the situation. I hope that these words are quite clear to you. I would love and wish that you jot them down, you keep a record of all this conversation, all these important bits that we are discussing or we have been discussing over the past few days. It will be continued. By the way, we will start now with the pronunciation capsule from the next lecture, and that will be obviously discussing the phonetics of words, the sound system. How can we understand the sounds, and then how can we get the help from those sounds to pronounce different words differently and obviously correctly as well. So there are very many misconceptions about those. We'll be doing them in due course of time. This is just about the introduction to English for the few classes that we took, but then now we'll be entering the modules now, because we have got a very limited stock of time when we talk of this course. We have got 60 important lectures to do, and these 60 lectures, dear friends, are worth gold if you can take the best out of them. Remember, you have to join the app as soon as possible. $999, this is the amount that you'll have to pay for this, and then you will see that there is a lot to learn, and it's going to be absolutely fun. This experience is absolutely going to be amazingly beautiful and beautifully amazing for most of you. Till the next time, inshallah, I wish you all the best. Take care of your health and be happy. Stay smiling, stay blessed. Let's meet the other occasion and discuss something new that is out of the box. Till then, it's a goodbye. Take care and thank you all.